learned a lot about the commitment it's going to take to play college golf, because there's a lot of commitment there. I think we've heard that at the Division III level, and it's only more so too at the Division II and Division I. And it's also a commitment, though, in terms of trying to find a college that's right for you all, I think. We think about college recruiting and athletics, and you think about football and basketball and how glamorous it kind of is. That coaches are following you all the time, that they're on your trail, they're coming to your house to talk to you, they're watching you play and whatnot. In college golf, that happens at the very, very elite level. But for more often than not, it's going to be up to you guys to really be on the trail. You're the one that's the commodity here. You need to pitch yourself. I think that's really, really important. Even at the Division I level, the elite players probably being highly recruited, but it's up to you guys to make your own path and figure out where you want to be, to try to reach out to these schools and to sell yourselves. It's going to be different than, like I said, the glamour of some of these other sports. You're going to make it, it's going to be a priority for you to make whatever you want out of it. And that's a really important part about this whole process, to realize that you're in control, but you need to sell yourselves too. And I think if you understand that from the start, it will help you make it as efficient a process as you can. But it can be done too. I mean, you saw those statistics. There are college golf programs, hundreds of them out there at all divisions. If you guys want to play college golf, you'll find a place to play college golf. I guarantee it. It might not necessarily be at the Division I level, but you're going to find a place where if you want to continue to play golf while you're in school, you'll be able to do it. But you're going to need to make the effort, and you're going to need to go out there and kind of find it on your own. I've come up with what in my mind are some different things that I think will help you guys in the search process. And some of it is tailored to Division I stuff. I'm going to try to make it a little bit broader in general too. But these are just 10 things to think about as you guys are going through the search process to try to make it as efficient as possible. The first one is you got to start the search now. And the fact that you're in this room means that you've already accomplished part of number one here, so congratulations. But how many people in the room are seniors in high school right now? Sure. Just one? Okay. How many are juniors? Any sophomores and freshmen? No matter where you are at this search here, you're still in decent shape. Seniors are going to be a little bit tougher maybe, but all things considered, if you jump in right now and you start the search process now, you can get into the game at all these different levels. As a freshman and a sophomore, you're actually kind of early in the process, which is great because it gives you a chance to really try to figure out in your own minds what your priorities are, what you're looking for. Kind of begin to feel out a little bit of what's available out there. Juniors, you're probably needing to concentrate a little bit more on the number of schools you're really thinking about, maybe narrowing it down to a dozen or so things that are probably realistic goals. And I'll talk about how to make that list, if you will, in a few minutes. As a senior, you need to be more aggressive now. If there's something that you really do want, you need to try to seek out some of these coaches if they haven't already contacted you. But it's not too late. The early signing period begins this Wednesday, but the late regular signing period isn't until April, and a lot of schools don't sign people to scholarships until that April timeframe. So there's still time, but get on the ball now. We mentioned collegegolf.com, and that is a really, really important website. It's run by these people who had the Ping College Golf Guide, and it used to be a published manual. They used to go through all the different programs, what was out there at Division I, Division II, Division III levels, what majors they offered, things like that. It's now all online. I believe there is a fee to get into some of the information. It's a fee well worth it in terms of what they offer are pages about every program, whether they offer scholarships, what kind of scholarships they offer, what kind of majors they have, what tournaments they play, and that interactive guide that we were talking about in terms of what their guys are shooting. You can find out what the results were for every team and every tournament they played over the last 2 seasons, and you can kind of get a feel for how you might fit in at a program like that. So it's definitely well worth going ahead and trying to look into, because I think it's a really helpful resource. The second thing you guys need to do is you need to understand what you're looking for in playing college golf. Do you want to be a tour professional? Is that really the end goal here? And if that is, fantastic. But you're going to probably need to look at a golf program where golf is the primary focus, actually. Do you want to just play because you want to keep playing? You want to get better? You were that person who maybe was a the guy that wasn't breaking 100 to start, but he wanted to play college golf. There's those opportunities out there, but you need to weigh in your own mind how important and what golf is going to mean in terms of your own focus. And then you need to weigh what academics are going to mean to your own focus. Are you trying to play golf to be able to graduate and get a good degree in college? Because that's an important thing. I think that's the biggest advantage you guys have is if you have the talent as a golfer, you can get into schools, you can play at college golf and get into programs and do things that maybe you weren't able to do otherwise. And you should begin to think a little bit on lines of what you're trying to get out of school academically, what kind of major you're trying to get. You should even begin to think, what do you want in a college experience? Do you want to go to a school that has big-time football and has that kind of atmosphere? How big a school do you want to go to? You need to begin to think along those lines because that'll really help make the whole process more efficient when you're beginning to reach out to schools. If you get in the process right now and ask those kind of questions, it'll just help everything go more smoothly down the road. Number 3, I think you want to understand what you're getting into. You did a great job of describing what Division III golf is like and the commitment that's at the Division III level. At the Division I level, there is no sport at the Division I level that takes more time out of your schedule than college golf. They begin the seasons right after Labor Day. They play all the way through November in this fall period. And then they pick up again actually at late January, and they go all the way through to June. It's a longer season than any other sport at the Division I level. And you play in 10, 12 tournaments. You'll play 3-day events at Division I. You'll play a practice round day. You'll miss 4 to 5 days of school with every tournament. That's 40, 45 days of school during the year. That's a huge commitment, let alone what you're doing back at school at practice. At Division I level, academics are important, obviously, but you're going to actually have to tailor your schedule to make sure you can go to practice. Most schools have their practices in the afternoons. You will not be allowed to take an afternoon class. So you need to know, hey, I want to be an engineer, but in order to be an engineer at X school, I have to take afternoon classes. It's not going to work at some point in time. You need to be able to understand the commitment at that level that you're going to need to make if you really are serious about playing Division I golf. At the Division II and Division III, obviously things balance out a little bit more. It's not that they're not serious about golf, but they do understand that the golf isn't the be-all and end-all, and you need to have a better time. You still need to have time management skills, and you need to be able to balance everything out, but it's a little bit less strenuous from that standpoint. So understand what kind of commitment you're having when you want to play college golf. Number 4, you need to get your academics in order. Academics at every level are a huge thing. Obviously, it's college, you need to do well. But I'd argue that that's the number that college coaches are looking at isn't your stroke average as much as your GPA and your grade. And if you're a good student academically, you can get into a program and play a college program that's probably above what your skill level is. But because you're a good student, the coach is going to look at you and give you a little bit more leeway in terms of deciding, do I bring this person along? College programs at the Division I level right now, they have this thing called the APR. It's the academic progress rate. And if a player is not succeeding in the classroom while they're on the team, they fail to graduate along those lines, your APR score goes down. And right now in college golf, or excuse me, all college sports, if you don't have a certain APR level, you aren't allowed to play in the postseason anymore. Academics are becoming much more of a serious issue by the NCAA. And if you're a college coach, you're not going to take suspect people academically. And I genuinely believe if you have, unless you have a 65 stroke average, if you're not a good student, they're not going to be serious about you. You need to show that you're serious about the academic commitment too. We mentioned that student handbook that's in your perspective, the guide to the college-bound student athlete. It's in your thing there. Definitely also go on the NCAA's website to get the updated version of it. They've changed, and I'm not intimately familiar with this, but they've changed what core courses high school students need to be taking and when they're taking them. They've done that for the freshman class that is in high school right now. It's going to be different than it would have been for previous classes. The biggest change is that they're asking you to take your core courses earlier in high school. They don't want people to backload these English and math courses at the end of the senior years. it's as much as anything for athletes and other sports, quite honestly, but at the same time, it's important for you to understand what you need to be doing throughout high school in order to be able to be eligible for college golf. The other thing you're going to eventually do is you're going to need to go through the initial eligibility clearinghouse that the NCAA has to certify yourself, make sure, they'll ask you questions about amateurism, and just make sure you haven't done anything that would theoretically trigger a reason you might not be an amateur athlete. Number 5, you need to know you control the process. All the high school kids in this room, you're the ones that are going to school. You need to be driving this process. Your parents are helpful in this, but you need to be the one that's asking the questions. You need to be the one that's reaching out to coaches. You need to be the one that's doing the research here. This is your lives, and it's really important for you to take ownership of it. And the reason I say that isn't to be kind of this, parental person trying to get you educated about being a high school student and being a grown-up and something like that. College coaches recruit all the time. They know who's serious about this and who isn't serious about this. And if you show them, if you step up to them and are showing your interest level and your commitment to this, that's going to impress a lot of people. And that's going to be another thing where maybe you're on the cusp of being a certain kind of level of a golfer, but if they see that kind of maturity and that kind of interest level, that goes a long way. I've had coaches specifically say that to me, where they know kids aren't interested in this process or their parents are driving them, that this isn't something they want to do. They can see that. That's phony to them. So you all need to be serious about this. You need to be the ones that are asking the questions. The other thing that's interesting right now, and it was spelled out in the rules regarding what's allowable in recruiting and whatnot for the different years at a freshman level, sophomore level, junior level, senior level. Coaches can't contact you. They cannot give you a call until July 1st after you're done with your junior year. They can't literally call you. But you can call them at any time, and you can talk to them at any time. And to get on their radars, as I said before, you need to be driving this thing. To be aggressive with them, you need to think about reaching out to them and calling them as a sophomore or a junior, and let them know, hey, I'm out here. You might not know about me, but I deserve a look here. You can make a phone call to them, you can write a letter to them, but you need to be proactive. And when you do those kind of things, I think it does make an impression. Now, obviously, if you have 79 stroke average and you're writing Texas and saying, I want to play on your team, there's going to be a certain reaction to that. And it's just like what Chris had said before about the letter from Tulane saying, thank you, but it's really not going to work. You need to be realistic. But at the same time, you need to be aggressive with some of these things. And I think it does pay off if you are. Number 6, you need to play golf. You need to go out there and play in tournaments at the local level here. I think a lot of coaches do respect the tournaments held in this association. I really do. And I think what you do in this will make an impression. But you need to play as much golf as you can and at as big a stage as you possibly can. We've mentioned the AJGA events, there's the IJGT, and those kind of things. Those are national events that college coaches, at least at the Division I level, really, really want to see you playing in. They need to see, because that allows them to be able to see where you fit in, how you compare to other players, that they understand. They know how those courses are set up, so they know what scores people are supposed to be shooting at and whatnot. And to get into those events, even if it's just a handful of them, and even if your finish in those events is not as strong as it would be at a local or regional event, it still makes an impression, and it's really important. Particularly around your junior year, I think it would be really a good thing if you can try to get into a few of those events or play in some of those and try to get a little bit of a national exposure, because I think that sends a message, obviously, again, your commitment and where you stack up in the grand scheme